Hello, Namaste, Hare Krishna. So the last couple of nights we've been talking about different body types according to Ayurveda. So the first night we looked at Kapha body type, which is a combination of two elements, earth and water, combining together and creating the Kapha energy, which is the whole structure and all the bones, and it's very solid, heavy, like that. And then last night we looked at the Pitta body type, which is water and fire elements combining together to create an energy of heat, metabolism, digestion, all those kind of processes. And tonight we're looking at the final body type, which is called Vata, which is a combination of the elements of air and space combined together to create the energy of Vata, which is like movement, or anything that moves within the body, like that. So we're outlining these three body types, but actually sometimes you'll get two of the types combining together. So if you did a dosha quiz, a test to find out which body type you have, that the most common ones is the person has a predominance of Vata or a predominance of Pitta or a predominance of Kapha. However, sometimes you will get maybe equal amounts or similar of two. So one person might have a good amount of Vata and a good amount of Pitta, or a good amount of Pitta and a good amount of Kapha. So there might be two. But that's less common. More common is just mainly a single dosha. And then even less common than having two is to have all three balanced, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, in sort of equal amounts like that. But that's the most rare. So yeah, there are different permutations and everything. And that's why we're all unique, right? Because we all have different amounts of these energies in our body like that. So our bodies are all different and our mentalities are all different. And apart from that, our souls are all individual too. So there's a unique soul, no two alike within this body also. So now what we're going to do, we're going to read a description about the characteristics of the Vata body type from a very well-known and very wonderful Ayurvedic doctor named Vasant Lad. So I'm reading from his book about Ayurvedic home remedies. Vata individuals have light, flexible bodies. Their frame is on the small side, with light muscles and little fat, so that they tend to be slim or even underweight. They often appear to be too tall or too short, or they may appear physically underdeveloped, with flat chests and less strength and stamina than the other types. Their veins and muscles are often quite prominent. Just a little aside, when it said here, flat chest reminded me, because I have a Vata body type, that one side of my chest is higher than the other side. So, and I've heard from different sources that this is very common in a Vata individual, because the air is so forceful inside a Vata person, and it can go in all funny, wacky ways. Sometimes, like a Vata person, their nose will be bent or like that one side is higher than the other side or something, or the chest is like different or whatever. So that's actually quite normal. It's a little bit, what do you call it, when it's balanced on both sides. So not quite balanced. Symmetrical, I think the word symmetrical is there. So often Vata individuals are not very symmetrical looking because of the movement of air in the body. The symmetry is a bit out. But that's, yeah, quite normal in a Vata. You can tell a Vata, by that. Vatas generally have dry skin tending toward roughness. Their circulation is poor, with the result of that their hands and feet are often cold. Because Vata dosha is cold, dry, light, and mobile. So mobile mean because the air is always moving, right? So, and they tend to be a very mobile person, always wanting to move around. Hard for a Vata person to stay still in one place, always wanting to move around. And even they might, move house often, travel, they like traveling and everything like that. Hard for them to stay put. And even in one job, move between one job to another job like that. So because because of the air, their mind has become more fickle like that. So always wanting to move around. And people with a Vata constitution tend to lack insulating material, the fatty tissue under the skin. They are uncomfortable in cold weather, especially if it is dry and windy, and they much prefer spring and summer. I mean, that's one of the reasons why my wife and I have moved about as far north as possible in New Zealand, trying to find more warmer conditions, because, neither of us like cold, like that. And she has not so much Vata, but Kapha and Pitta. So Kapha also is a cold body, and they also, it's better for them to be in a warm environment too. So both of us, Vata and Kapha, it's good for us in a warmer kind of environment. And if you are in a cold environment, like even we've tried the best we can in New Zealand, but it's still pretty cold, and so you just have to try to keep warm. So that's what we need to do. These individuals have a variable appetite and thirst, and variable digestive strength. They are often attracted to astringent food such as salads and vegetables, but their bodies actually need sweet, sour, and salty tastes. So, as we've explained, there are 6 different tastes, which is called rasas in Sanskrit. Sweet, sour, salty, astringent, bitter, and pungent. Pungent means hot. So here it's talking about astringent. So Vatas are attracted to astringent food, and he's explained what that is. Like a lot of salads and vegetables have astringent tastes. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with what astringent means. So it's like, I don't know if anyone's ever bitten on a green banana, or, you have astringent persimmons. If you've ever had a persimmon, an astringent persimmon that's not fully ripe, it creates a really dry feeling in your mouth, and your lips like pull back and like that. It's quite intense. Sometimes some green leaves, spinaches and things like that can have that astringency as well. Some spices have astringent properties, like turmeric and that too. They're very drying. They create dryness and different qualities are there. So they're pointing out here is that the astringent taste is not so good for the Vata, and Vata's attracted to that, but it's not good for them. And that's come up from a few people have put in comments like that when they look at their body type and the foods that's not recommended for them. But that's exactly what they like, exactly what they like. So Kapha person, they like the deep fried oily food and things like that, sweets and stuff, but that's exactly what's not good for them. Pitta people, they like spicy food. But that's exactly what's not good for them. Vata like the salads and stuff, raw food, raw vegetables and salads. But that's exactly what's not good for them. So yeah, just be careful about that. Raw vegetables increase rather than balance Vata. Vata individuals often experience digestive difficulties and problems with absorption of nutrients. I mean, that's the point that Ayurveda considers that most people don't in the West. You might say, well, yeah, but the raw vegetables got more nutrients in it. But then Ayurveda will say, yeah, but what's the point, having all this nutritious food if you can't digest it? Then you're not going to get the benefit from the food if you can't digest it. So first thing is to eat food that you can digest. And then whatever nutrients are in there, then you're going to get it. You might have this super nutrient-dense raw food or whatever. It's got everything there, and if you cook it, you're going to lose 50% of it, right? So don't cook it, just eat it raw. But then if you can't digest that raw food, then it's going to come out the other end, and you're not going to get anything out of it. So better you cook it a bit. You lose some of the nutrients, but the remaining nutrients, you're going to get all of that. So that's the principle there. Like in Ayurveda, unless you've got a strong digestion, it's not recommended to have brown rice. Although brown rice has got, more goodness in it, nutrients in it than white rice. But, if you don't have a strong digestion, you're not going to digest the brown rice. So it's better to have a more refined, white rice, like white basmati rice, which has less nutrients, but it's more digestible, like that. So that's a principle there in Ayurveda. And I just finally understood that only recently. I could never really get it, why they were recommending to eat white rice rather than brown rice. But then now I've understood that the main first point is that it should be digestible. They tend to produce scanty urine, and their faeces, poo, are hard, dry, and small in size and quantity. Constipation is one of their most common ailments. So that's a good sign of a Vata person, that they suffer from constipation. Pitta and Kapha normally don't have so much problem with that. But Vata, it's very common, constipation. Vatas are the most likely of the body types to fast or to eat very little. But this actually increases Vata and tends towards imbalance. It's interesting, a lot of things that we like to do, and it's not good for us. So another thing Vata likes to do, apart from eating raw food and salads, is to do fasting and reduce eating the food to small amounts. But actually this is not good for Vata, it just makes Vata even worse. But for Kapha, for example, that can be very useful to do fasting for Kapha. Very useful. And Pitta also, fasting not recommended. It'll make them more aggressive, angry, and the Pitta will just increase even more. But for Kapha it's perfect. So like they say, one man's food is another man's poison. Not necessarily, it's going to be good for everyone, a particular food like raw food or a process like fasting. So we have to see, what is the individual, what is their body type in different circumstances there. Other physical characteristics typical of Vata types include small recessed eyes, which are often quite lustreless, dry, thin hair, often curly or kinky, dry, rough skin and nails, cracking, popping joints, and teeth that may be irregular, broken or protruding. Vatas walk quickly and are always in a rush. That's a real giveaway. Due to the mobile quality of Vata, they do not like sitting idle but prefer constant activity. They also like to do a lot of travelling. Not doing anything is a punishment for them. They are attracted to jogging, jumping, and vigorous physical activity, but because they tend to have less stamina, they can easily get strained or overtired. Vatas are drawn toward a lot of sexual activity, but excess sex is one of the causes of aggravated Vata. Vatas generally have a difficult time prolonging sex, and Vata men may experience premature ejaculation. Vata individuals sleep less than the other body types and have a tendency toward interrupted sleep or insomnia. Insomnia means having trouble sleeping, right? Especially when Vata is aggravated. Nevertheless, they generally wake up feeling alert and fresh and ready to go. Psychologically, mentally that means, Vatas are blessed with quick minds, mental flexibility and creativity. They have excellent imaginations and excel at coming up with new ideas. When in balance, they are joyful and happy. Vatas tend to talk quickly and to talk a lot. They are easily excited, alert, and quick to act, but may not think things through before acting. So they may give a wrong answer or make a wrong decision with great confidence. Confidently make a wrong decision. Vatas are quite loving people, but may love someone out of fear and loneliness. In fact, fear is one of the symptoms of unbalanced Vata. That's another good incentive to get in balance, to escape the fear. These individuals may experience fear of loneliness, darkness, heights, and closed spaces. Anxiety, insecurity, and nervousness are also common among them. They are warriors, not warriors, warriors. They worry a lot. One of the main physiological qualities of Vata individuals is readiness. Oh no, not physiological, again psychological. Yeah, so this is still mental. Qualities of Vata individuals is readiness to change, or put it the other way, difficulty with stability and commitment. Yeah, so always wanting to change around, that cannot be so good. Can often not be very stable. Always wanting to move around and change jobs, like I say, maybe even change relationships, which is a disaster like that. So not being very steady like that and committed to things. I have a tendency, I must admit, I get inspired and to have a project, and then I sort of complete the project and I get bored and I want to start some other project like that, and it may even involve moving around. So, but sometimes that might not be so good, not be able to stick to something. They often change furniture, housing, jobs, or towns, and get easily bored. Oh, there you go. They don't like to stay in any place more than a year. I'm trying to do better than that. I've been like 4 years here, so I'm not doing so bad. Their faith is also quite variable. Vatas may be low on willpower and often feel unstable or ungrounded. Clarity is one of the attributes of Vata, and Vata individuals generally are clear-minded and even clairvoyant. Along with their lively minds and fertile imaginations, they are usually highly alert and grasp new ideas quickly. However, they are also quick to forget. Yeah, that's definitely me. in one ear, out the other. Yeah, quickly forget. So yeah, long-term memory, not very good. Oops, sorry. Okay, decline. And yeah, quick to forget. So we pick up things quickly, but also forget things quickly. Yeah, they think and speak quickly, but are restless and easy fatigued. They generally have less tolerance, confidence, and boldness. Oh, just one little tip about if you have a tendency to forget things. Do you know what you can do to counteract that? Write things down. Write things down. Forgetfulness means to not write it down, so if you write it down, then you won't forget it. So I usually, when I'm going around somewhere, I'll take a little notebook and a pen with me. Or if you're a real high-tech person, you could have a dictaphone or put it into your recorder on your phone like that, anything you don't want to forget like that. Vata types tend to make money quickly, but they spend it quickly too, often impulsively or on trifles. Oh, I better not read this out too loud in front of my wife. A Vata may go to the flea market and come home with a lot of junk. They are not good savers, nor are they good planners, and as a consequence, they may suffer economic hardship. We haven't done so bad, Krishna provides. The word Vata is derived from a root that means to move, and this gives an important clue to the character of Vata individuals. As the principle of mobility, Vata provides the motive power for all our mental and bodily processes. It regulates all activity in the body, from the number of thoughts we have to how quickly and efficiently food moves through our digestive tract. The behaviour that Vatas are drawn to, travel, erratic hours, continual stimulation, frequent change, can easily upset their balance and lead to Vata disorders such as constipation, gaseous distension, weakness, arthritis, pneumonia, excessively dry skin, dry lips, dry hair, dry, cracked nipples and cracked heels, nerve disorders, twitches and tics, mental confusion, palpitations and breathlessness, as well as muscle tightness, low backache and sciatica are also due to aggravated Vata. Oh my God. If you don't want to get all those things, you better keep your Vata in balance. That's another good incentive to stay in balance, to avoid all that breakdown problems. Excess Vata makes the mind restless and hyperactive. Loud noises, drugs, sugar, caffeine and alcohol also derange Vata dosha, as does exposure to cold weather and cold foods. Okay, so there you go, no drugs. And excess Vata is a major factor in PMS, premenstrual syndrome. When, as her period approaches, a woman experiences bloating, low backache, pain in the lower abdomen, cramps, pain in the calf muscles and insomnia, and emotionally she feels anxiety, fear and insecurity, this is due to aggravation of Vata dosha. Ayurveda's really got it down, exactly knows why these problems are coming up. And the Western doctors is like playing guinea pig. We're like a guinea pig when you go to the hospital. They don't really have any idea why you got this problem or whatever like that. But here it's like just plain black and white. If you're experiencing this particular thing, they know what the root cause is. They know what the root cause is. It's just your Vata is aggravated too much. Just got to reduce the Vata. Then all these backaches and blah, blah, blah will go away. But we have to go through 100 scans and pay thousands of dollars and have, donate, gallons of blood and all this kind of stuff. And at the end of all that, have x-rays, which is giving you cancer and everything. At the end of all that, they still don't know what's going on. It's completely just hopeless. But this is so much more scientific. Like the wind, Vata types have a hard time settling down and staying grounded. When their Vata becomes aggravated, it is difficult to calm them down. Sticking to a routine is difficult for them, but is vital if they are to remain healthy. What's vital for a Vata to remain healthy? Stick to a routine. So that's what I was saying at the beginning of these talks about health as wealth. Having a regulated routine is so valuable for any body type. Having a regular routine, getting up at the same time, go to bed at the same time, eat at the same time, all these kind of bodily activities to regulate them. It'll help our mind to become more peaceful. You don't have to think about them anymore, and the mind can become more peaceful. The dry, cold, windy seasons of autumn and winter tend to increase and aggravate Vata dosha. So, at these times, Vata individuals need to be particularly careful to stay in balance. They need to dress warmly and eat warm, heavier foods. Warm, moist, slightly oily foods are beneficial, as are most warming spices. Steam baths, humidifiers, not dehumidifiers, humidifiers, meaning put more moisture in the air, and moisture in general are helpful. So it's winter now. I better keep warm. So yeah, got to keep warm if you're a Vata. Keep warm in the winter, any of the cold season. And I hate the wind. I just can't stand wind. So like that, if that's your weak point, is like cold and windy and that, then just stay out of the wind as much as possible. Like I don't do much gardening in winter because I know it's a difficult time for me. So I don't want to go outside too much if it's cold and windy. It's just going to make me physically worse, and also mentally it's going to derange my mind if I go out in the wind. I've already got internal wind going on, Vata. I don't want to add more to that externally. So just knowing these things can help us so much. I just go out on the nice days, like we had a nice day today. So when it's sunny outside, you go out there. And if it's a cold, windy, dark day, then just avoid that kind of weather, because it's just going to upset the Vata, even more. So he's just summed it up, some basic guidelines here for balancing Vata. So he said, keep warm, keep calm, keep the mind calm, don't get stressed. So avoid raw foods, avoid cold foods, avoid extreme cold temperatures, eat warm foods and spices, keep a regular routine. And that's the end of what he said about Vata. So some, really good points there. I like how he presents it. It's very easy to understand. It's not all, technical jargon that, you have to have a degree to understand what he's talking about. No, he's presenting it very nicely, very easy to understand for us lay people. Yeah. So definitely if you're Vata, don't go out to the ski field. Skiing. No skiing for Vata. It's good for Pitta. Good to help with the Pitta to cool down. Go out skiing in Queenstown in the winter or whatever. But so it really helps to understand what your body type is. Then you'll be able to be in harmony with that physical, mental nature that you have and not create any imbalances. Because we've seen how many diseases can come about, from diverting off our energetic balance. We definitely want to avoid that. And Chase has said, yep, definitely sounds like myself and very informative. No skiing for me. Yeah, definitely. It'll save some money too, because Vatas tend to spend the money quite a bit. Yeah, so save a bit of money if you don't go skiing. It's good. I'll buy some more plants for the garden instead, yeah. So yeah, and because we do tend to get, anxiety and that, then gardening is great for Vatas. Gardening, yeah. Put your feet on the earth and your hands in the earth. Be connected to Mother Earth is very grounding and very good to help the Vata, stressful kind of anxiety, kind of fearful person, to just calm down, to keep calm. So yeah, definitely being in touch with the water and the earth, these elements, and like that natural environment, the sunshine, fresh air, is very good for all of us. But yeah, especially for Vata. But for all of us to be in a natural environment, it's very grounding and very good for our physical, mental health. So yeah, that's exciting. So we've got it. Hopefully everyone can get an understanding now of the different energies. I mean, like I said, all of us, no matter what body type you have, all of us have all three of these doshas. There is some kapha within us, and otherwise you would just be one blob on the floor because the kapha is like all your bones and your structure. That's your whole structure. So you've definitely got kapha in you. And then there's pitta. You couldn't digest, nobody could digest anything unless there was some pitta there, and all the metabolism and, how does the food get turned into your, body parts? That's pitta. Pitta is transforming. It's a transforming energy. So it's converting the food that you eat and into all your different organs and blood and bits and pieces, components, bodily components and everything. And then, things need to be moved around. Air gets moved around, blood gets moved around. You need, to go for a poop. You need air to push the poop out. To go for a pee, you need air to push the pee out. So like that. So this is all Vata. And the mind is working due to the movement of air and everything, prana, like that. So we've all of us have got all three, but we just will usually have a predominant amount of one. So there, if you understand that, then you just want to keep that in balance, not let that get too high or too low either. We don't want to wipe out the Vata. We just want to keep it the way that we've been born with a particular amount of these energies. So we want to try to sustain that amount through our life and not let it go too much up or down like that. So thank you for joining in, and I hope you find something useful there. And yeah, we'll be looking at some different subjects tomorrow onwards. So yeah, stay tuned if you like it. Okay, hope this meets you in good health.